Hi everybody, my name's Tony. I'm a yoga therapist and teach breathwork and meditation. And this short video is on behalf of Jacob's Positive Mental Health Week. This is a practice for chair yoga, people who are stuck for hours on end in a chair on Zoom calls and you just don't get to move your body enough. So we're going to go kind of from the crown of the head and work our way down and get through all the movements of the joints, so you can start maybe thinking about incorporating some of these things in your day just every now and again to stop that kind of crunching and the stiffness that comes with sitting for hours. So making sure that the chair you're on is reasonably comfortable. If you do have wheels on your chair, then now is a really great time to lock them if that's possible. You can sit back into your chair using the support of the back of your chair if you like, or I highly recommend sitting forward. That way we're already starting to warm up and use some of the muscles that hold up our spine instead of using the back of the chair to do that. Now, as we go along, everything I'm guiding you through, we're going to take it really slow. But something doesn't feel right for you, or you've got a tender part in your body that you know you need to take care of, please listen to yourself far more than you listen to me. Listen to me about 10% of the time, and the rest of the 90% of the time, you're figuring out whether it's right for you. If it's not right for you, then you can do something else, or simply sit and wait for the next movement to happen. And this is a recording, of course, you can fast forward. So making sure your feet are a comfortable distance for you. It doesn't matter whether you've got shoes, socks, or bare feet. Just rooting down into the floor. You can even pick those toes up and move them a little bit around if you like. And wake up the awareness to the bottom of your feet, whatever that support is underneath you. In your own time, take a breath in. Exhale it out, soft like a sigh. Another couple of breaths like that. If you feel stable enough, you're welcome to close your eyes. And again, start to just give yourself permission to be here. Let the rest of your day kind of fade away a little bit. And send all of your awareness down at the soles of your feet. Just feeling that support underneath you. It's always there. You can even push down into your feet somewhat to wake up some of the muscles of your legs for a few breaths. Then we're going to sit deeply into our seat. You can even take your seat from side to side a little to wake up that awareness and sit deeply into the chair. Almost as if from the pelvis downwards, our body is grounded. You can even imagine if you like roots growing down from your tailbone and through your feet, if that's helpful. If it's not, no big deal. From that groundedness, we lift up through the spine. So as if someone just picked up the crown of your head and you're just kind of nudging the crown of your head up towards the ceiling. Soft shoulders away from the ears and wide collarbones here. Take a big breath in once more. Exhale it out. And you're welcome here to soften your gaze down or close your eyes and just take a second and notice how you're feeling. No judgments, no stories as to why, just notice how you're feeling. Notice what's on your mind. Notice the kind of stress level you're working with. And then take your awareness inside and notice how your physical body feels today. You can even take your awareness to the crown of your head and slowly draw your awareness down through your body, noticing places that are loud, places that are familiar, maybe you have some discomfort. But also take the time to notice the places that feel comfy, that feel easy, that feel quiet. All the way down to the soles of your feet. And you can take as long as you need to for that. And then we start to notice our breath. Maybe breathing in and out through the nose if that's comfy for you. And then just steady the breath out. Whatever length of breath you have, smoothing out the inhale and exhale as best as you can. Get familiar with that steady breath. We'll keep coming back to it. Rooting down, feet in seat to rise up from there. Once again, soft shoulders, wide collarbones. And then we're just going to draw circles with our nose in the air in front of us. One direction, as smooth and as slow as you can make them, just like you slowed and smoothed the breath. Doesn't have to be big. More is not better for yoga. In fact, if we push our bodies too much, let's take that in the opposite direction. Then all that happens is the connective tissues and the muscles actually contract. If we start small and build up from there, then the body naturally feels more comfortable and it'll open up naturally for us. Next time that chin comes down towards the chest, we're going to keep it there for a few breaths. Shoulders can sit back over the hips, breathing into the back of the neck, top of the shoulders, upper back. Those steady breaths in and out. Noticing whether you need to back off or whether you can take that chin a little deeper for the last breath. And then when you're ready, I'm going to come all the way up. Dangling those hands down, and if you have chair arms on your chair, then you can bend those elbows if you like. I'm just going to circle those shoulders in one direction. Imagine that you're moving through honey, and it's a slow, steady movement, as if you're drawing circles with the heads of your arm bones there. Any places that feel less than smooth, no big deal. We're just doing our best to smooth that out. And then we'll take it around in the opposite direction, and that may feel very different. And don't worry if one side feels very different from another. It's a myth that our sides of our body are symmetrical and even. You can always rest whenever you need to, otherwise one more. And then we'll take that left hand back to support, and the right hand's going to come up around about shoulder height and take the fingertips towards or on that right shoulder. Rooting to rise, keeping the collarbones wide, we're going to start to circle through that elbow, as if once again you're drawing circles in the air. Start small, again, more is not better. And once this feels comfortable in your body, you're welcome to take those movements a little bigger if it feels okay. Notice if you're simply staying in the front line of your body, or if that elbow can come back. Allow the movement to be steady and smooth. And then if you want to, rather than keeping the heart facing forward, you can start to get a gentle twist in there as that movement takes the gaze over towards the right. You can even take that gaze over the back of the right shoulder if that feels okay. We've got one more here. Notice the direction that you're going in. We're going to come back to center, heart facing forward, and we'll take that round in the opposite direction. Start small. Steady breath, steady movement. Rest whenever you need to. And you can stay here, allowing that movement to be as big or as small as you like. And the last add-on is starting to take a gentle spinal twist with that movement. You can take the gaze with you. Notice where you feel it in your body. Another 2, resting if you prefer. Last exhale. You're going to take that hand down beside you like you have a huge mason jar, and you're going to screw that jar on and the lid on and off from the shoulder, so not just from the wrist, so we soften any tension through the shoulder capsule. Nice. Right hand comes back to support, left hand comes up, left fingertips towards or on that left shoulder, no big deal. And then we're going to start to circle. And maybe this side feels a little easier, a little more challenging. Try and stay away from the stories and just notice how this feels. Again, always starting small, adding on if it feels okay to you. As if you're moving through molasses, so there's no rush here. In fact, slower is much better for the body. And then the option is to start to take a gentle spinal twist with that movement. You can take the gaze with you. Steady breath. And notice where you feel this in your body. Always adjusting and adapting the movement to move with your body, not against it. Last one here. Notice which direction you're going in. You're going to come back to pause and take that round in the opposite direction. Heart facing forward, spine straight to start with. Circling through those elbows. And this really gets through the whole shoulder joint. Option to take that bigger or smaller. Option to add on, starting to bring a little spinal twist into that, just letting the upper body naturally come along with the movement. The gaze can go with you. Steady breath. Again, noticing where you feel this in your body. And resting is always a good idea if the breath gets halting or there's any discomfort. Last one here. Nice. When you come back to that left hand beside you, like you have a big mason jar and you're screwing the lid on and off from the shoulder joint, not from the wrist. Nice. We'll take that left hand back to support, coming to seated cat and cow. If you're sitting into the back of your chair, I highly recommend coming forward just a little so we've got a bit more space. I'm going to turn to the side so you can see me. On an inhale, I'm going to lift the heart forward, draw the elbows back, and on the exhale, those fingertips come forward, belly in towards the spine, and we round. Inhaling and exhaling. That can be as much or as little as feels good for you. Very little stillness here, so the whole breath is guiding the whole movement. So brief pause right at the top of that inhale and right at the bottom of that exhale. If you want to add on into the cervical spine, neck comes up as you lift your chin on the inhale, chin down on the exhale. We can take that into the lumbar spine. On the inhale, send your tailbone out behind you so you get an arch in the back. And on the exhale, tuck the tail and you're sitting into the back of the pelvis, a little or a lot. Couple of movements here with the breath. If you want to hang out in one particular place because it feels really good, go ahead and do that at any time. And again, you can pause, you can stay for longer. Otherwise, another 2 breaths. Staying for the very last exhale. And coming all the way back to center. Hands are going to interlace in front of you. I'm going to turn the palms forward. Keeping a nice bend in the elbows. We're going to take those arms up above. And the softer those elbows are bent, the easier it is in your shoulders. You can stay here, pushing the palms towards the ceiling. If you want to add on, you can take those palms all the way up, elbows bent towards straight or straight. Rooting down through the feet in the seat and lifting from there through the side body. Whether the elbows are straight or bent, no big deal. This is the inhale. On the exhale, I'm going to tip over towards the right side, lengthening the left side of the body. Inhaling up, exhaling over to the left. One more either side. You can always rest. Any numbness or tingling in those hands, please bend the elbows and release. Nice. Coming all the way up now. You're going to flip those palms over and interlace the hands the opposite direction. So the opposite first finger and thumb on top. Send the knuckles towards the front of the screen, chin in towards the chest. Belly draws into the spine and you're pushing the back ribs towards the back of your chair. Breathing into the top of your shoulders, across your shoulder blades. You can even root down through your feet as if you could push them forward to get more into the lumbar spine. And we're here for 3 breaths. Steady and smooth. If you've got a desk in front of you, you're welcome to take that support with your fingertips if that feels better. Staying for one last exhale. And we're coming all the way up. Any movement you need in your shoulders to release tension, go ahead. Last movement is a twist in the spine until we come all the way down into the hips. So we're taking those hands in front of you, palms towards each other, or soft fists with those thumbs on top. You're going to send those hands out. I'm going to turn to the side so you can see me. We're going to be twisting to the left to start with. So this is the inhale. On the exhale, we're going to draw that left elbow back any amount, widen through the collarbones, and the left elbow draws as far away from the right knuckles as you can. You can take the gaze with you or not, depending on what's going on in your neck. This is the exhale. Inhale, back to center. And we're moving on the left side. Inhale, exhale. As if you've got a big bow and arrow and you're drawing back on the bowstring. Now notice as this is happening, there's a good chance that as you twist, your right hip is sliding forward on your chair. See if you can root your feet and both sides of your pelvis so the twist is actually staying in the spine. Again, that gaze can come over the left shoulder. You can stay here pulsing, or 3 more breaths, option to hold in the twist. Inhaling and exhaling. Every inhale we lengthen, every exhale you can soften or deepen the twist, your choice. And again, the elbow is drawing back and the right knuckles are drawing forward. Stay for the last exhale. On an inhale, we're coming forward. And whether you've got arms on your chair or not, if you don't, swing those arms forward and back. And if you do, bend those elbows. Just softening. Same thing, other side. Hands come forward, palms towards each other, or those soft fists. This is the inhale. On the exhale, the right elbow draws back and we're twisting towards the right. And again, more is not better here. You may notice that one side is a little more challenging than the other. No big deal. You can take the gaze with that right elbow or even over that right shoulder. Notice if the left hip is sneaking forward. See if you can root down through your feet and your sit bone so that hip doesn't shift. That way we isolate into the spine. After this one, 3 more pulses, or we stay back, 3 breaths. That elbow is drawing away from the left knuckles that are reaching forward. Steady breath. Again, more is not better, so soften if you need to. Stay for the last exhale here. And then an inhale, we're going to come back to center. And again, those arms are going to soften, or you can do those little kind of train chugs back and forth. Nice. From here, we're going to get down into the hips, so we're going to take the feet a little bit wider. So depending on the chair you're on, making sure that if you sit back into your chair, you'll have more stability. If you come forward, then you'll have less stability. So figuring out for yourself what feels best. Toes facing out, knees more or less under your ankles. And that way we've got a bit of stability there. Hands on your legs in any way that feels comfortable. And from here, as if I've kind of hooked forward into the front of your ribs, on an inhale, we're drawing the ribs forward, round, and on an exhale, we're drawing the belly in towards the spine. So it's kind of big barrel rolls through the spine here. And I highly recommend softening your gaze or closing your eyes if you're comfortable. And don't worry about a right and wrong way to do this, but if you kind of pass everything over to your body, it'll naturally start to soften into a more fluid motion. You can get your shoulders, your head, your neck involved. You can get your pelvis a lot more involved if you like, just working in a way that makes your body feel as fluid as possible. And this is a controlled motion, so we're not throwing ourselves around here. It's a great way to soften everything we've been bringing tension into, but this also is about building strength. Next pause, we're going to go around in the opposite direction, which will feel a bit awkward. And that's okay. Your job is to make it as fluid as possible. And if that means adapting or changing anything up, please go ahead. Steady and smooth breath, steady and smooth movements. The movement is always secondary to the breath. One more here. I'm going to come all the way back to center. Nice. Now we're going to get into that hip a little, starting on the right side. Your left foot is your foundation here. Don't worry about the width of your external rotation. It's different for all of us. You can stay on the ball of that right foot or lift up through the toes or lift up the ball so you're on the heel. That right hand's going to come to the inside of the leg. On the inhale, you're going to take external rotation. On the exhale, you're going to drop that knee down for internal rotation. Now, the more you come forward on your chair, the less support you'll have under that right thigh, so it might feel a bit more easeful. Inhaling and exhaling. And again, more is not better here. So we're not trying to jam into as much internal and external rotation as we possibly can. We want the fluidity of the motion. That's where we start to build up the synovial fluid in the joint, and the body needs ease to do that. Inhaling and exhaling, getting your full range of motion, smoothing it out with the breath. Next one, I'm going to leave that thigh out and take the foot down. Readjust yourself if you need to. Same thing, the left side. So the right foot roots, your sit bones root, and you're lifting from there. You can stay on the ball of the left foot or lift the toes or the ball of the foot up. On the inhale, we're taking it wide. Exhale, drawing in. Now, it might be significant, the difference between the left and the right side. Try and stay away from the stories. And just simply notice and see if you can steady out that breath and the movement, even if it means making the movement a little bit smaller. Steady breath is a great place that our nervous system likes to be, and the body naturally, with a steady breath, starts to feel safe and will start to open up for us. Another couple of breaths here. Rest if you prefer. And then when you're ready, we come out, that left foot comes down, we're going to heel toe those legs back in towards each other. From here, that left foot roots down, lifting up from there. On an inhale, we're going to lift that right knee up, take a little flex in that right foot, exhaling down. See if you can do this, and it doesn't have to come up very high. See if you can do this without leaning back, which is what we like to do, even if it means not lifting up quite so high, but we want the steadiness of the movement. So notice where you're quickening things up. On that next inhale, we're going to keep that leg up, take the side of the thigh underneath that thigh or in front of the shin, depending on what feels good to you. Left foot roots, as do the sit bone, and we're lifting from there. Once again, collarbones wide, shoulders down. We're going to circle through that right ankle. Slow and steady. Don't worry about any snap, crackle, and pops in there. And then we're going to take it around in the opposite direction, as long as the breath is smooth and it feels comfortable in your body. Nice. From there, a little flex in that right foot. Hand comes in front of that shin. Again, rooting to rise, steady breath. And we're circling through that hip. Doesn't have to be a very big movement. Inhaling and exhaling, what we want is the steadiness, again, as if we're with the very tip of our kneecap, drawing circles in the air. That left foot rooting down is going to help that right leg feel a little lighter. If you want to, for the last 3 breaths, lighten that grip on that right knee, but smooth the breath out, smooth the movement. Notice which direction you're going in. Next, exhale, the hand comes back and we're taking it round in the opposite direction. Now, if you need a break in between, take a break. Take a few breaths, as much or as little as you need. Your upper body is as still as possible. Slow it down, steady it out. Use that left foot as foundation to lift from there. And the last 3 breaths, option to lessen or let go of the knee. Slow it down, smooth it out, steady breath. And the next time that right foot comes down, They'll come all the way down to the floor. Windshield wiper that right knee in and out just to soften through that hip. Okay, we're going in the opposite direction, or going to the opposite side. Right foot roots down here, and on the inhale, we're lifting up through the left knee, exhaling down. Think about a slow movement, even if you're just lifting through the heel. Option to stay here. Option is we're lifting that leg up, holding the thigh underneath the thigh or in front of that shin, whatever feels better for you. Rooting to rise through that right foot, and we're circling through the left ankle. And the ankle's never really smooth and steady, so don't worry about any clicks and clacks in there, taking it around in the opposite direction. We want the movement to be as steady as possible. Next time that comes down, a little flex in that ankle, that'll help with control. Left hand in front of that left kneecap, and we're circling on the left side. And this does not have to be a big movement. And it really depends on the kind of the length of our bones, how much our arm is going to let us circle with that hip joint. Steady and smooth. That right leg is still rooting down, so we get the lift from there. Upper body is as still as possible. Breath is steady, and the option is to release or soften that grip with the hand. Put another 2 on this side. Notice which direction you're going in. Take hold of that knee again, and we're going in the opposite direction. Always better to start small again, let the body feel safe. It will naturally open up for you. This is an awesome thing to do first thing in the morning. If you're kind of in bed, to get that rotation in your hip, you can lie down, take that knee into your chest, and do exactly the same thing. Circling, option to let go of that hand or just lessen the pressure so your hip's doing way more work. I think that was 3, but let's do 1 more just for fun. Then we're going to take that leg all the way down. Hand on the knee, and we're windshield wipering that knee in and out. Feet are coming rooting down to the floor. We're going to extend out that right leg. Now I like to come forward on my chair. You can always hold your chair for support. And then externally rotate a little bit so the leg comes a little further out towards the right. From here, we're going to circle through that ankle. And although it may feel like it's just the ankle, if you put your hand into your hip, you'll notice it's all the way up into your hip joint. It's even getting into your knee because you'll find a soft bend there. We're going to take that round in the opposite direction. This is fantastic, especially when you've been sitting in a chair for so long. Great thing to do. Nobody can see you below the waist in a Zoom call. And then the next time those toes come up, you can keep that leg extended and then draw it in. Same thing, other side. Left leg comes out towards the side. Toes up towards the sky, pushing down through the heel. Readjust yourself on your chair so you feel stable, and then we're circling through that side. And again, if you put your fingers right to that hip joint, you'll notice you're getting round into the hip capsule there. And then we'll go around in the opposite direction. And again, all we want is as steady as possible. We're not looking for perfect, we're just trying our best. Next one. Keep those toes up towards the sky, and we'll draw that left leg in. Now from here, we're going to walk those feet in towards each other. Option number 1 here is to take that right leg out, coming to the outer blade of that right foot. Excellent place to stay. And again, if you need to adjust yourself forward or back on your chair, you can do. If you have something handy, like a little step stool or a stack of books, you're welcome to put, or a yoga block for that matter, you're welcome to up the height of that right foot, making sure it's supported. Or if you have the range of motion, that ankle's going to come on top of the left thigh and walk the left heel out so there's not any kind of weird angles going on with that left leg. Don't worry if that knee is way up by your ears or not, as long as it feels comfortable to be here. And you'll know if it's comfortable because you can keep that steady breath. No steady breath, come back to a place where it is comfortable for you. Lifting up from the seat and from that left leg. So we've got tall spine, wide collarbones. Hands resting on ankle or knee, or on top of that left thigh with a long spine, hinging from the hips rather than rounding through the spine. We're coming forward. And that is gonna give that right hip a little bit more intense sensation. So you get to decide how much or how little. A little flex in that right foot so we keep that right knee steady and safe. If you're rounding through the collarbones, widen them, lift up through the heart. You can even send that tailbone out behind you a little, and we're breathing steady and smooth breaths. It's not going to take very much to come forward and allow that right hip to get to a place where it's challenging. So breath is steady, you're in a good place. Always backing off if you need to, and the option once you're here and the body naturally opens up, maybe you can come a little further, but the breath is the guide. Nice. The next inhale, we're going to draw the shoulders back over the hips, releasing that leg. Then we're going to come to the other side. Option one, knees and ankles in towards each other, left leg comes out, and we're on the outer blade of that foot. Hands come to the top of the thigh, lifting up, and you can stay here coming forward, or that ankle is on top of the knee if you don't have any blocks that you can put that left foot underneath. And again, staying in a comfortable place. Ankle on the right side is right under the knee wherever you are. This is the inhale, soft hands, so we're not pushing anything down here with our hands. Option to come forward from the hips. Tailbone is going to come out behind you to make that a little bit more intense. Heart is lifting, drawing the ribs in, so we're not kind of peacocking those front ribs out. Steady breath. It's not going to take very much for that hip to get quite loud. So working in a way that is comfortable in your body. We know it's comfortable because the breath is easy. And staying here, option to come a little further down or back off depending on what you need, option to rest entirely. Staying for the last breath here. And then when you're ready, shoulders come back over the hips and we release that leg. Taking the feet a little bit wider here, all you're going to do is windshield wiper those knees from side to side. Nice and easy, coming to the inside and outer blade of those feet. Option to take the gaze away from the knees to get up in through the spine to the base of the skull. And then from here, bringing everything back to center. And we're taking it back into the chair, feeling kind of comfy here. So you're sitting back into your support. If there's a place you prefer to feel more comfortable, like a couch or on your bed, please go ahead. We're just settling down for a couple of minutes here. So take a big breath in when you're ready. Exhale that out, slow and long. Another couple of breaths just like that. And if you feel comfortable, you're welcome to close your eyes, soften your gaze down, or lower your gaze. Let your breath settle back to a natural ebb and flow. Feel the support underneath you, feet, seat, back of your body. And then see if you can release into that, letting go of any conscious tension. And this is after all that movement. Simply notice your body resting. Allow the thoughts, those busy thoughts, to be like a radio in the next room. You can hear it. If you could tune into it, you know everything that's being said, but you choose not to focus on it. So that sound of the thoughts kind of wash over you. Listening to maybe the ebb and flow of your breath as it comes in and out. And just like at the beginning, notice how you're feeling. Notice your mind. Notice how your body feels. And maybe do that sweep from the crown of your head down slowly through your body. Noticing not only the loud places, but the quiet places. All the way down to the soles of your feet. And you can stay here for as long as you like. Or to end your practice, feel his feet rooting down into support. And from there, rooting down through the seat and lifting from there. So maybe you sit away from the back of your chair. Take some slow, steady movements into your body. There's no right and wrong way of kind of awakening here. Do it in your own way, your own time. Until you come back to a place where you want to finish your practice. Rooting down through your feet, your seat, lifting up from there. A hand gesture that feels good for you. Nothing's right and wrong. Big breath in. Exhale, dip that chin towards your chest just a little or a lot. Soft gaze or closed eyes. Just thank yourself here for taking the time to move a little. Know that all of these practices today you can do throughout your day, a little bit here, a little bit there. I hope this was in some way useful. Thank you for following along.